Hey everyone, welcome back to TBM Sports. Let's get it going. Let's talk MLB action Wednesday, July 23rd. And crazy to think about, but we are approaching the trade deadline, and very soon it will be August. And it's just crazy to think football season is just around the corner. But we'll talk about kind of what we have going in the MLB today. I do have 3 bets. We're going to have a fun one out there with a prop too that I like a little bit later on. We'll kind of ride a wave out there on the West Coast. But let's get into the action. If you guys are new to the channel here, please make sure you all are subscribed to the channel, okay? It's completely free to hit that button, and every video that you do, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. It does help me grow here on YouTube, so I do appreciate all of the support, all of my channel members. A lot of cool stuff that we are going to be rolling out here. As always, I've been teasing that for a while, but I promise it is coming. So that's kind of what we have going on in the form of announcements. The 2-3 record yesterday. So we gave out 5 picks. We cashed on 2 of them early. A little plus 135 from my guy Christopher Sanchez coming out. A little complete game. You don't see that too often in the MLB, but at plus 135, essentially a wash yesterday within the best bets. Really just needed that Milwaukee plus money and the Dodgers to come through with a little bit of a pairing with the Cubbies, and we would have had a very nice night last night. But hey, we lived to bet another day. The Dodgers score 6. And in a world where they gave up quite a bit of runs to the Minnesota Twins, we'll talk about kind of what we have, how that's going to play a role in today's handicap as well. So let's get into the action. Enough about yesterday. Let's stay in the present. And I am going to use Outlier, as you guys are all aware, to break down the action that we do have going on. And we will get into that first game. A little bit of a noon first pitch here. We got a couple games that are starting at noon. If we go down the board, it's actually 4 of them, then a couple 1 o'clock. So as we look for this Wednesday spot, going to be kind of interesting. I think that as we see kind of what's happening with the trade deadlines and kind of where all those pitchers get moved, right? I've heard some rumblings within the likes of Sandy Alcantara. We've heard, actually, for those of you that do not know, I'm a Guardians fan. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not a Guardians fan. I'm an Indians fan, but I digress. Stephen Kwan, and we might see him and Clase on the move to the Dodgers for one of their top prospects and a couple bullpen arms. I did read that this morning. So we'll see if that happens. I'm kind of glass half full on that one. But for those of you that have been suffering within the Cleveland sports franchises until Dan Gilbert came to town, you know, and for that matter, Jimmy Haslam, I got to give him a shout out. He is spending the money, whether or not he's an airhead or not. He is spending the money, and that's always a good thing to have from upper management. So just not a fan of the Dolans there within the Cleveland Indians organization. They should have about 3 World Series rings if it wasn't for that family. And I think Knicks fans and, you know, the likes of the rest of the world can all attest to kind of what we've been talking about. So we'll talk about it more so. And I do want to get into that first game where we do look into the Reds and Nationals, okay? And that's kind of where you kind of look at the over for this one, okay? And I think this is something where we talk about the Reds coming to town at minus 138. The one thing that did catch my eye as we look at this pitching matchup is the fact that Lodolo and Soraka, we do have a potential for a 5-4 game, upwards of 9 plus 10 plus runs. As we look at yesterday, they did fail to get that 9 runs. Did kind of semi like that over. It's more so in the favor of the Washington Nationals. For as good as the Reds have been in the first quarter of the season, they kind of laid an egg, and it's been kind of slow sailing there for their offense. But they're still 52-50 on the year, so it's very interesting to see that race heat up there within the NL. But let's talk about it, the next game, because I don't really have a play in that Reds-Nats game. Padres, Miami. I do like Dylan Cease and the Padres to bounce back against the Marlins. Minus 145, the odds makers agree with me. Sandy Alcantara, you know, he kind of had a little resurgency back to that Cy Young form. It's enough to catch some eyes, but I wonder if he's just how much he's actually I guess you would say, giving his all, okay? And I know that's kind of a bad thing to say, right? You show up for work every day, you want to give your best effort, but I do think there is a world where sometimes it becomes a business decision, and yes, your numbers matter, but I think that behind the scenes, behind the numbers, you either have it or you don't. And these scouts, the advanced scouting departments within these major league clubs, they're fully aware if he's capable. And as the Marlins look to move him, I could definitely see kind of working both ways. Might get a little audition from him where he will want to do well against a star-studded roster, maybe kind of turn some heads, force the needle, get out of Miami. Who knows? I don't really know where his head's at, but it's a situation nonetheless that I'm going to stay away from. And I think that's why we would lean towards the Padres in this spot. I think that's kind of a very sharp angle, especially coming off of a loss. But the Padres before that, winning 6 out of their last 10, I think that was just an anomaly, a dud, if you will. So give me the Padres here on the money line. That is a very strong lean. Giants, Braves, this is where we see Verlander looking for his first recorded win of the season. 5 ERA going against Spencer Strider. On paper, this one sets up. It's kind of like the young Verlander versus the old in some form or fashion. But I do think that the Braves will get this job done. As you look at kind of yesterday, that was an outlier. They lost, I think, got blanked by the Giants. They might have scratched one across late in that game, but for all intents and purposes, that was a Giants whitewash, as that one basically was shut off for me about a third way through the game. Okay, so I think it's a Braves bounce back spot at home. Continue the fade train on Verlander, -172. Too kind of hard to lay. The run line for the Braves is attractive. Also, Braves to not bat in the 9th. Probably dabble into that market a little bit, but I don't fully trust Spencer Strider in his return to action this season. Okay, Tigers and Pirates. This is one that was interesting as well. And the reason why I'm going to talk about it, because I loved the under yesterday, but out of all the 5 picks that I did give out, that was probably my least favorite. But it still made my card. And Tigers, shout out to them, 60-42 on the season. But you just quite frankly don't know when the Pirates decide to play some baseball. And likewise, we did see a little bit of offense as that game eclipsed 13 runs there on the total. And now we get Melton going against Bailey Falter. Yeah, I like the Tigers in this spot, -146. I don't think that's too steep to lay it. I just don't trust Pittsburgh's offense. I know they're at home, but I also know that the Tigers are one of the best teams in baseball by the numbers. So I do like the Tigers, even at a -146 price and a kind of uncertainty within their starting pitcher in terms of what you're expecting. All right, Angels, Mets, we'll move on from that. Sean Manaea hosting Burke, and Burke has been impressive, 4-1 on the season, 3.38 ERA. The Angels here, kind of a little sneaky, +155. Looking for their first win in 2 games. The Mets have won 3 straight before dropping 2 of their last 7, and I think that's kind of where you look at the Mets here. It's a little too pricey, so it's Angels or nothing. Otherwise, I think that there is an angle where you could look into Mets, props. I think that I like the Alonso a little bit. I've been favoring him in my prop betting, just kind of sidebar on that note, but I think he did go 0 for yesterday, so please keep that in mind as he looks to bounce back. Going against a left-handed pitcher within Burke, I think that the righties there for the Mets lineup, and I think that Alonso is prime at home to take on the Angels in this spot. But outside of that, no official play. This will be the 1 o'clock free game on the MLB Network for those of you that do tune in. Okay, Royals and Cubs, another game where we called it right on the money. Matthew Boyd's been very impressive there for the Cubs, and the Cubs took care of business yesterday with margin. Looking for them to kind of keep this one going. It's going to be interesting. Probably, I think that the Dodgers and the Cubs, in my opinion, like we kind of highlighted earlier on, and for that, just for the sake of argument, in the other direction, the Orioles. Okay, I want to know kind of where these teams are, if they're buying, selling. I'm very curious to see if we get any big names moved, but I think the Cubs and the Dodgers definitely have the potential to be buyers at the deadline. Okay. So as we look at them, 16-41 on the season. Ray has been pretty impressive, 8-3, going against Seth Lugo. Not the Seth Lugo of last year, but still serviceable. I do think this one keeps the scoring down a little bit. Depending on the wind in Wrigley, keep that in mind. That's where you could see potentially the Cubs team total. That's probably what I would end up betting, and or Cubs to not bat in the 9th inning. I do like that one quite a bit as well. Okay, Rockies and Cardinals. I promise you guys I will have some official plays. Let's keep going. This is a long slate. This is one where we got it yesterday, right? A little bit of a output for the Rockies at home. The St. Louis Cardinals here minus 185 on the money line, looking for a little return to their action as they want to kind of get back into the thick of things. 52-50 there, very much a divisional mashup that we have in that race there within the NL Central. For me, guys, though, I think that the Cardinals take care of business. Colorado hasn't named a pitcher. I think that Palante will get beat around a little bit. So the total set at 11, as you would expect in Coors Field. I think that this is one that also will go over the total as well. Palante's been good, but not great. And the Rockies, they've been hitting the baseball a little bit better than the mean. And I do think that this one goes over 11, as I do like to favor that a lot at Coors Field. Okay. Milwaukee and St. Louis. Let's go back to it. Okay, we're going right back to the well. I think they had the plus side of the pitching matchup. All right, you look at Priester, 8-2 on the season, 3.33 ERA going against Castillo. It's the same thing. Pitcher's ballpark. The Mariners put up 1 run yesterday and was able to get the job done going against Mizorowski. We'll tip our caps. Okay, we'll lose that. That's a plus money bet that I'm going to take all day. If you'd have told me that the Brewers would have only given up 1 solo shot to Cal Raleigh and they would have lost the game, I would have said you were mistaken. Okay, so that was the right handicap. It was a losing ticket, but the right handicap, I stand by it, and it's still one we're going to go right back to it. Okay, I love a little zigzag here as the Brewers have snapped their win streak, and now they look to get right back on the snide as the Brewers are plus 116 on the money line. Very impressive, 60-41 on the season. A little bit of a temptation going on with taking some Milwaukee futures money here if you do want to bet them to win the World Series exactas. Very, very enticing in my personal opinion. So that's kind of where I stack up. You could, probably find some very good odds taking the Brewers, say Brewers Tigers. I know that's kind of sounds a little funky, but you got to kind of find some outliers in the space. And quite frankly, the AL don't really have much for that in that regard. And who knows? Maybe we could see this being some kind of a sneaky Brewers-Mariners World Series matchup. I don't think that's likely, but you just never really, quite frankly, know. Some years it does pay off betting some home run exactas for the World Series pairing. And I think the Brewers, they do have the potential, right? They're just kind of like 1 or 2 pieces away, I think, with this current form that they're in. But hey, shout out to them. Great winning streak. Looking to get that one continuing and starting a new one. So we're going to be taking the plus 116 money on Milwaukee. That is my first official best bet. Next game on the board that we will have an official play in. Okay. This will be as we look at the Dodgers and Twins. Okay, I do want to show you guys kind of what we have going on in this one. The one thing I did want to kind of favor is the Dodgers. I looked at their team total going over the total of 5.5 or 4.5. They've hit that in 6 of their last 10. That's a minus 143. Too much juice for me. Plus 120 at 5.5 is tempting, but it is something as Chris Paddock is going for the Twins. I think the Dodgers get over it. Okay, but if they are going to get 6 runs in a game, I think the bet that I'm going to give out officially is a much better proposition, and that's where we're going to look into Shohei Ohtani. Okay, I flirted with kind of the total base numbers. If you like him to score a home run or to hit a home run, as he's hit 6 home runs in his last 10 games, he's really kind of in outstanding form in my personal opinion. All right, but the total bases here, you look at the kind of 4 straight games where he's had at least 4 total bases. That's just phenomenal. Okay. The one thing that kind of stands out to me, though, is looking at his doubles prop, okay? Plus 450 to have a double. He has not had a double in his last 10 games. I thought that one was kind of eye-opening to me. But for me, guys, the hits runs RBI market at minus 120 to go over 2.5. I think that one is a very, very fair proposition, okay? So if the Dodgers do score 6, they do win the game, bounce back against the Twins at home. All things are setting up for this, so we're going to go Shohei Ohtani over 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs. And I will kind of say, a little side note, I don't necessarily bet Ohtani as much. I kind of stay away from in props betting the big name players, okay? It may feel that way sometimes, but I do stay away and shy away from the big names because that's a lot of times where you find too much baked in value that just does not present itself. So Ohtani, though, I do like him going against the Twins and Paddock. I think Glass now, he's not been, I would say the glass now from the Rays, but his last couple starts since returning from injury, kind of impressive. Okay, so I do think that one continues. I think the Dodgers get the win. Don't like them on the money line. Don't like them on the run line. If anything, Dodgers team total, and I do like the Ohtani hits, runs, RBIs. That will be my official play. Okay. Moving down the board, the Baltimore and Cleveland game, that's one that's kind of on the docket that we have not talked about, okay? And that's going to be where we have Eflin going against Ciccone. I think it's the same thing as we saw yesterday, okay? The 8.5, it's hitting 2 straight games with the Orioles and Guardians. I think we see it once again. So that would be where I would lean in this regard. I also think the Guardians stay hot. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. I think the Guardians go over the total of 8.5. They've hit 9 runs or more in 6 straight, 7 of their last 10. So that's kind of how I would approach this game. Okay, Philly and Boston, another game where you kind of look into kind of what they have going on. Giolito going against Jesus Luzardo. A little bit of a reversion to the mean from Giolito's hot start for the Red Sox. This is a game where I kind of look forward to the under 8.5. I know that the Red Sox offensively has been presenting itself, but I do think that you look at the Red Sox, 8 of their last 10 games, and as we look at it, 7 straight going not more than 9 runs, okay? So I do think the under 8.5 is a little bit of a sharp play at plus 105. Also, Phillies to not bat in the 9th is very attractive to me as well. Okay, 3 games we're going to talk about. We're going to jump down and talk about the Angels and Athletics. Kind of hit that one on the head as it was a close game yesterday. The Rangers, not the Angels. Rangers minus 136 on the money line behind Patrick Corbin. I think the Athletics are live here, plus 125, okay? Simply put, but there's no edge in my personal opinion. So unless you're going to fade some Sears outs, going under Sears outs, I think I would look into that as well. But outside of that, guys, there's really nothing going on in the Athletics Rangers game. Okay. And then the one before the final play that I will give out, White Sox and Rays. The Rays stay hot, but I do think that with Jonathan Cannon going there against Taj Bradley, if the White Sox hit the baseball, which, you know, they have won 4 of their last 5 games, plus 176 for the White Sox. I know they're 36 and 66 on the year, but this could be a little sneaky underdog play if you do like the White Sox, even plus 1.5, taking them on the run line at minus 115. They've cashed the run line in 8 of their last 10. I do think the White Sox can be live here, 7:35 first pitch. And then the last game on the docket, we're going to talk Yankees and Blue Jays, total set at 8.5, and that's exactly what we're going for, plus 100 there. I do think this is going to be a little bit of a outlier, contrarian bet, if you will. Chris Bassett and Max Fried have been impressive for both of these clubs, but I do think that we may get some offense here in Toronto. So I'm going to go over the total of 8.5 at plus 100, okay? I know everything, you know, you look at this game and you go, oh, Max Fried's pitching against Bassett. This is going to be a low-scoring affair. We're going to get a 3-2 ball game, not so fast. I think we get some runs, so I'm going over 8.5 Yankees Blue Jays as my final official play. All right, so that'll wrap it up, guys. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Thank you for the time. As always, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and join us. Quick recap: we're going over 8.5 Yankees and the Blue Jays. Milwaukee on the money line, and Shohei Ohtani. Let's get that 2.5 over hits, runs, RBIs at minus 120. All right, so enjoy it. Let's cash some tickets, and we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.